Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Dana with Empowered by Dana. I would like you guys to get a pen and paper or have it handy because we're going to be writing out a checklist at the end. A little bit about me is I have been a veterinarian for 26 years, always my little girl dream, first passion, animals. I also love medicine. I've also been in the self-defense space as a student and an instructor, self-defense and then mixed martial arts as well for 14 years. And I've been a personal trainer for about 10 years. And I've also been a snowboard instructor for 8 seasons. This will be my 9th season, if I'm remembering correctly. That's just a tiny bit of my background. What is this concept of holistic self-defense? So this is a term that I borrowed from a self-defense mentor of mine. I am one of his affiliates, meaning I'm trained under his self-defense system, Tony Blauer. And when he said this term, I was like, there's the words I've been looking for. Even as a person and personal trainer, I love, there are so many analogies in life. And as human beings, we all do it. We all link one thing to another thing. So to me, self-defense really is not merely, can I punch and kick and strike well? Like that's cool. However, there are so many other aspects to life that equal self-defense, in my opinion. How much I protect my sleep. I am fiercely protective of my sleep and my night routine and all of that. In the past. No matter what, no matter how close it might be, you might have to learn how to keep better boundaries. That is self-defense. The type of food that's allowed inside your body, that is self-defense. There are so many different aspects. Tell me how to say that. I'd like to make up this. Oh, putting all of that under one umbrella just makes a lot of sense. So that is how I do self-defense. We're going to start right away. Let me check here. Recording is still going. Audio is still good. Okay. Hands up. We're going to do a fair amount of our movement processes with our hands up. This does a couple of things. First off, hands up. Should you be faced with someone coming at you and you have this bad feeling, like, oh, I know this person's intention is not good. If you can immediately put your hands up, it does a couple of things. One, it shows that you are, this is kind of like a universal signal for back off, buddy, or, keep your distance, or I don't want this. It also is signaling any cameras, cell phones that might be around, because we all know how people just love to record things nowadays. It is showing them that you are trying to de-escalate the situation. You are not the aggressor here. So this is what hands up is doing. It also is doing another very important thing on the inside that only you know is happening. And that is, if you have no choice but to meet force with force, that means if this person that's coming at you, you had a bad feeling, if he's coming at you and you can't run, leave, or you're with someone that you are responsible for and they can't run or leave, if you can't exit stage left, and you also can't talk him off the ledge by using your voice or reasoning, there's so many different tactics. Back off, no, stay away. Those are all universal for stop. If none of that works and your hands are up, versus if you kept your hands down here, you're going to have a much higher chance of now stopping this attack, stopping how much injury might be coming from this. This hands up position is super important for that. So that is why we're going to do some movement with our hands up. Hello, Michelle. Hands up. We're going to do just a simple squat. Here's my foot position. Feet position can be wherever you want them to be. There is not one way to do exercise and to do movement. Hip width might feel good to you. Wide might feel good to you. Narrow might feel good to you. And it's a way to give your body variation. So let's just pick roughly hip width. We're going to keep those hands up. And all a squat is, act like you're going to sit down in a chair and then you change your mind because you forgot something and you're like, oh, hold on, I forgot my phone across the room. So that is what a squat is. It's just like you're going to sit down and then you decide not to because, oh yeah, there's no chair behind me. Watch where your knees are when you're doing this squat. And if you do this in front of a mirror or in front of a camera just to check your view, we don't want knees to be doing this. This is a common female movement pattern. I used to have it a lot, and I still have to watch out for it in certain instances. If you're getting tired, take a break. I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see what my back is doing. Here's the other thing that's important in a squat. Sometimes we might think, I'm going to come a little bit closer. We might think, so if you're looking at my back, I know the top of my head is cut off, that this straight back is a squat. You can't hold your balance there. You're gonna fall backwards. So it's not about trying to keep our back as straight as we can. It is normal and natural and functional for your body to hinge, is what is the technical term for this. Think of it as a little bit of a lean forward with a squat. And that the angle of the back, just getting slightly technical, the angle of the back usually is the same as the angle or very similar to the angle of the chin. Let's take a break. Those are just some ins and outs of squats. A great way to practice squats is if you have a chair. I'm going to grab my stability ball right here. And you can send your hips back to the chair so that if you don't have enough control, then you have something to sit on. And then you can get up from that chair. Again, we talked about the reason why we're keeping our hands in front of our face. Here's something to add to that position. Only if we are forced to meet force with force and we have to defend ourselves or a child, a loved one, someone else that cannot defend themselves, a very effective strike that you don't have to practice, that you don't have to perfect, as opposed to a punch, is something called a palm strike. With a palm strike, we're just using the base of our palm to send a strike out. This can be to the face. It can even be to the chest. It doesn't have to be directly to someone's face. If maybe it's not a super intense, maybe it's a drunk, whatever friend that you're like, get away from me. This can just go to their chest, just like give me some space. I don't like what you're doing, so it doesn't have to be very aggressive. But this palm strike, you don't have to drill it a lot. And in order to not worry about breaking your hand or breaking bones, even police officers have broken bones throwing an improper punch. As we're doing that squat, we're going to add to it. So let's come back to your squat. When you come up from your squat, let's just mimic that we're throwing a palm strike out there. Notice that my body rotates. This should feel like a natural movement. Give me this angle for a second. If I'm throwing, this is my left hand arm. It's natural that rotation as I'm throwing that strike out there. And guess what? I'm going to give you some of these and more. You guys can alternate which side you're doing. Leg and that foot. Because if I'm rotating, it's going to be natural. Could I do this and keep the leg and foot straight? Sure, I could. But this is going to feel very natural. And that's going to give you a lot of power from the ground up. Michelle, will you let me know if the audio is okay? Can you stick it in the chat for me, please? So that is a palm strike. And again, remember, this doesn't have to be to the face. Granted, there are lots of soft targets there if you have no choice but to defend yourself. but this can also be to the chest, and it can help to give you some space. So that is our palm strike. Awesome. Quiet went further away. Thank you. Okay. Next thing that we're going to add to this. So these are just layers. If you want to add layers to this movement, move this up a little bit. So we've already done our hands up. We've done our squat. We've done a palm strike, squat, other side palm strike. We can also add a calf raise to this. I'll tell you something really cool that I nerded out on, I don't know, a year ago, learning about calf raises. Showing you what this looks like. Other view. So all you're doing with that calf raise is just coming up onto the balls of your feet. This helps with balance. This requires a fair amount of core, even though it may seem like it doesn't, it really does. Especially if you're on something that's a little bit softer or like a foam pad, that challenges core a lot. So you can add this piece. So here's the nerding out thing I did. I came across some research that showed if you do calf raises while you are seated, especially after a meal and or just throughout the day at work, so you can be exercising while you're sitting at work and no one has any idea what you're doing. Let me show you what this looks like with my stability ball. What are you doing? This is it, just a calf raise. That has been proven to help lower your blood sugar by a significant amount, like much more, obviously, than if you're just sitting there. So this is something that I love to give my group clients for homework. And I'll send, a reminder, like maybe in the morning, like put a note on your phone, do 10, 5, 3, 15, 20 seated calf raises, like put a note on your phone 4 times a day. And or if you do it after you just ate a meal, it will help the sugar from that meal. You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't sugar, it'll help your body to deal with it. So seated calf raises for the win. And no one even knows you're doing them. Here's the next thing we're going to do. Overhead arm circles. Getting your arms overhead can actually be tricky for a lot of us. There's multiple reasons for this, and sometimes people have different issues with their body. A big reason for the inability, or not quite the flexibility and mobility to get arms all the way overhead. For example, your arms may come here, and that's fine because as you do things, that will improve. But a lot of the reason is everything happens in front of us, right? So if you think about driving, reading, texting, everything, it happens like in this position, right? So we get stuck in that position. Our pecs get really tight. That can make it really hard to get the arms overhead. There's other factors, but that's one of the main ones. When you put your arms overhead, I would like you guys to look at, a mirror or something. See what is your pelvis doing when you try to put your arms overhead. Is this compensation happening? This is a ex-Dana special, by the way. When I landed in physical therapy, this was my posture. Takes a lot of years. I still have to think about it. My body still wants to do this. If you so zero offense, because I'm a veterinarian, I use this analogy all the time. If I am a dog and I'm wagging my tail, I think we all can imagine what that might look like, right? If I'm a scared dog at the veterinarian and I'm tucking my tail, that's sort of what that feels like on your pelvis. So let's tuck our tails and then see how far we can get our arms overhead with our tails tucked. I like the sideways view for this one because you really want to see what my and your pelvis is doing when you send those arms overhead. So get your arms as overhead as you can, and let's just do little arm circles. So this is all I'm doing with my arms. Let's do them in one direction. keeping tabs on where that pelvis is, what it's doing. And some days I'm tighter than others. Some days I have to do more stretching, switch direction, more stretching of my pecs, more rolling, foam rolling down my back, etc. Our bodies are, they vary from day to day, depending on how good your sleep was, what you did the day before, what your stress level is. All of that affects us. Okay, take a break from there. I briefly want to talk about using your voice. This is super important in self-defense, and it's super important in life. The more that we, as ladies especially, get comfortable using our voice, the more we're going to feel confident and strong in many areas of life. Story. I had this adorable woman who has trained with me before. We've done nutrition. She has come to my self-defense in-person workshops. She told me a couple weeks ago about a situation at a gas station that she goes to a lot. So she says she's in line and there's this man behind her, and she's like, I put myself on the counter, and then he reached over and he put his drinks on the counter. And she's like, she kind of looked at him, and the cashier is like, are you paying for these also? Something like that. And she was kind of dumbfounded, and the man either started walking away or something. And she's like, I didn't know what to say. And his presence was overpowering me. And she basically, the end of the story is she paid for this random person's drinks. And then like he comes back in, I believe, grabs the drinks, leaves. And she's like, Dana, I didn't use my voice like you taught me to. I'm so weak. First off, that word doesn't fly with me. No, you're not weak. None of us are weak. You just happened to not respond ideally in that situation. Have I done that a million times before? In situations not responded ideally? Of course, we all have. So first, reframe that no, you are not weak at all. It's difficult sometimes to use our voice, to stand up for ourselves, especially if we don't practice it. So the more that you practice using your voice at work, with your significant other, out in the world, if you see something that isn't right, of course, every situation is dependent. However, use your voice. It gets easier. It's just like any muscle that you train. As we're here training our squats, the more we squat, our legs, our butt, everything's going to get stronger. The more you use your voice out in the world, it'll get stronger. So we talked about her using her voice. She told me, that's the gas station I always used to go to. I'm afraid to go there now. Did anything violent actually happen? No. But she felt violated. And in fact, she was violated. It wasn't physical violence, but this person overstepped her boundaries, and that is not okay. So learn how to use your voice. This is super important in life. The next thing we're going to do, I'm hoping you have a wall to hold on to. This is my makeshift wall. This is my punching system. That's my makeshift wall. Just because this next one, we're going to be stepping backwards, and sometimes that can be challenging. It's harder than it might seem to step backwards. We don't routinely walk backwards, right? So it's really good for our knee health. If anyone has knee issues, if you can walk backwards, so good for knee health. So holding onto a wall or something, holding onto a chair, holding onto something, you're just going to step back into a reverse lunge. What this looks like is just stepping, one foot behind you, both knees bend, come back, starting position, other leg. Both knees are still bending. It can sometimes feel normal to leave one knee straight. That's not what we want to do here. I want you to bend as you step back into that reverse lunge. Going, I'm going to get a little bit closer. Keep going. However, don't push it if it doesn't feel If it starts fatiguing, then take a break. When I'm stepping back into that reverse lunge, similar thing as with our squat. It's not wrong to be here. You can balance here as opposed to when we talk about the squat. That doesn't work, right? You can balance here. I prefer this method because it gets into the glutes more. And nobody's mad at a good set of glutes, right? Male or female. We're all chasing the glutes. I mean, okay, I guess I can't speak for everyone. I'm always chasing it. So when you step back into that reverse lunge, it's going to be natural for your back. Okay, that is a natural feeling. Again, it's not wrong to do it the other way. Take a break. But I like to get the glutes, and they are the biggest muscle on our body, the gluteus maximus. So it's the largest muscle on our body. So we want it to be doing a lot of work. The last thing we're going to do, hold on, checking my notes. Okay, perfect. If you have a wall near you, I don't have a real wall here. I have this guy, so it's not going to work real well, but I'm going to use my punching system again. If you have a wall near you, let me go back to the reverse lunges. If you can still keep those arms up, hands up in front of your face as you're doing the reverse lunge, that's cool. Eventually, later, you can add weighted things to this. For now, I would just love you to practice some reverse lunges. This is great for balance. It's great for fall prevention. It's really, really fantastic for fall prevention. Wall, here's my makeshift wall. We're going to do wall push-ups. With this, a self-defense piece that I love to add or to envision as I'm doing push-ups is imagine, again, there's so much to unpack about avoiding and de-escalating the situation before you ever get into a physical altercation. That is always the goal, is to never get into a physical altercation. It's sort of like car insurance. We all have it, but we don't drive around going, I hope I get to use my car insurance today. We don't want to use our self-defense today. We want to avoid any situation first, or talk it down, de-escalate, talk them down. Very, very, very last resort is to have to use our physical defense, self-defense skills. However, one thing to envision when you're doing a wall push-up, or a countertop push-up or a floor push-up is envision the attacker is pulling you in, because lots of times that is what they do, and you are pushing yourself away. That envisioning pushing yourself away is very important, because when we do a wall or a countertop or a floor push-up, we are not pushing the wall or the countertop or the floor away, right? We are pushing ourselves away. The reason I mention that, and I really want you guys to think about that, is a common question is, but I probably can't push a 200+ pound man away. That's much stronger than me. No, but you can push yourself away potentially and make more space. And then that leads to other things we could do to keep ourselves safe. So this being my makeshift wall, I'm going to get into a strong standing plank, which part of that is tucking my tail under, and you can add squeezing the glutes. That helps keep that plank nice and strong. And our body is going to stay in that nice plank board-like position as we are doing our wall push-up. Okay, so here's my makeshift wall. If you guys have an actual wall, that will work way better, obviously. So my makeshift wall, your hands are in that same position. With those fingers spread is actually very important too. So keep those fingers spread. Have them on the wall about shoulder height apart. Plank, you can be on your tippy toes or not. Either's right. And you're going to lower yourself towards the wall. Push yourself away. Lower, push away. If you're near a wall, keep going. Keep doing that for me. Envision, because this also makes your body stronger when you put a little internal movie to it. Envision the attacker is pulling you in. You are pushing yourself away. Just add that piece to it as you're doing your push-up. It's pretty cool how much stronger it can make the push-up and just how much more dynamic. And it also makes it go by faster. Because if you're, say you work yourself down from the wall to a countertop to a bench, and then you're on the floor. Let me tell you, when you get to the floor and you're counting out 4, 6, 8, 10 push-ups, it can be a little bit like you're like, okay, when's this over? When you're adding that envisioning piece, you're like, not today. I don't think so. So it just gives you something else to add to it. And I like it. Yesterday, I was at my veterinary job and a man came in, this fantastic client, and he has those big cane corsos. Is that what they're called? Those big, massive dogs. I saw his dog 3 months ago and it was 25 pounds and now it's 92. I think it was 3 months ago. And he's in personal security. So this man is so nice. So he's like, how are you doing today? I'm like, and he sincerely means it. So we're talking and I'm telling him I have this today. And I was honest with him. I'm like, it's been a little bit since, I got derailed with my wrist fracture and I'm nervous, I'm nervous to, I want to make sure I do a good job. I give people what they need. I don't give them too much, and overwhelm them, da, 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 da. And he's like, what you're doing is so important. And especially for women. And because he's in the space too, being in security, at the end of the appointment, he goes, promise me you're going to keep doing this, no matter if 0 people show up and I said, I promise. So I just thought that was really cool. And this is important stuff. Please share this with anyone that will listen. Anything that you take away from this, please share it with someone. I aim to create a community where healthy and happy and strong women, that is the normal. That is totally normal. It's not freakish. Okay. Going a little bit more to the lifestyle side of things. Those were our movements. Lifestyle. A common thing that I hear from ladies too is that they don't have time to work out. And I get it. While I am not a mom myself, I see what my friends who are moms, whether they're single moms, or not single moms. I'm like, dude, there is so much lands on you guys. Like it is kind of like all about the mom, right? So you guys are responsible for a ton of stuff and driving the kids around. Every time you go to the bathroom, this is one suggestion I do with myself and I love to make for a lot of my training clients. Every time you go to the bathroom, granted, if it's a, emergency, so this is going to be a task pairing thing. Make it a habit, create a habit. And it always takes a little bit to create a habit to do some movement in the bathroom before you actually use the bathroom, depending on the size of the bathroom. At my vet job, I have a big old bathroom. So I'm all like, yeah, all right, I get to do all kinds of stuff in here before I go to the bathroom. I might do some wall angels where I'm just opening up my chest. So with my arms against the wall, I usually do some reverse lunges. So just set a goal to do 5 squats here. If you have a nice, if it's maybe a bigger bathroom with a sink or countertop, I love to have ladies also do countertop push-ups because we're naturally much stronger in our lower body than our upper body. So learning how to do a push-up, I feel, is very important. So 5 squats, 5 countertop push-ups. That can be an easy bathroom goal. And then of course you can change this and you can add to it. There's so many different options, but if you start making it a habit, then eventually it'll just be normal to you. And even sometimes when I'm out having dinner, especially if I've been sitting for a long time, I definitely do some movement, even if it's in the bathroom stall, because even a small bathroom stall, you have a little bit of room, even if it's just like a front lunge or the squat, So that's an easy thing to do. And lovingly, just a reminder, and it's a reminder to all of us, it's a reminder to me as well. If you watch TV or you scroll Facebook or Instagram or other social media and say, I don't have any time to work out, that time while you're watching TV or scrolling could be your workout time. because it doesn't have to be a full hour or 45 minutes in the gym or in your living room. That it doesn't have to be that. It can be 2 minutes here, 30 seconds each time you go to the bathroom, and drink a lot of water so you go to the bathroom a lot. It can be 10 minutes after you get home from work because you have a full 10 minutes right then. It can be 15 minutes. Like it does not have to be all at one time, and it doesn't have to be an hour. Every single bit of movement adds up. It all counts. Any reps are better than 0 reps. 1 squat is better than 0 squats. Okay, so it all adds up. Staying disciplined versus, a lot of people ask, how do I stay motivated? That's another thing I got. I basically did some interviews with people. It was a recommendation from someone I was following, and I did 10 interviews and asked some basic questions. And so these are some of the answers I heard over and over. I'll do good for a while, and then I just can't stay motivated. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. I'm not motivated to do stuff every day either. When it becomes discipline and it becomes part of your identity and part of who you are, and the way it becomes that is when you start doing it and you see how you feel, how it improves sleep quality, how it actually improves energy. It doesn't fatigue you when you're doing the right amount and you're giving your body what it needs, and you're starting slow with movement if you haven't been moving much lately or able to with injuries or whatever. You see how it affects your life. You see that you are holistically self-defended, and now it is your discipline because you're like, I don't want to do my push-ups today. However, I know that makes me feel like a badass when I am envisioning, not today. This is not going to happen. I know that after that, I walk around differently, and you'll walk around like more confident and feeling stronger. And you just walk around differently, which makes you less likely to ever be chosen as a victim in the first place. Something that I think works really well is finding a buddy. Every single person knows someone that also wants to move more or eat healthier, or you fill in the blank, something with health and wellness. We all want to. I am on my health and wellness journey. It never ends. So find a buddy, commit to 5 minutes a day of doing something. You don't even have to be physically in the same room as them, although I think that's more fun to be in person. But it can be like this or just on the phone. You don't even have to be on a video. Just put each other on speakerphone. Okay, are you doing your squats with your hands up? Yep. Okay, let's count. 3, 2, 1. Okay, take a break. All right, let's open up our chest. Let's see how far our arms are going overhead today. How's your pelvis? Are you not doing this? Okay, we check. Okay, you can be on the phone for 5 minutes, and you can have, there's your warrior partner in crime. Everybody, in my opinion, I know I love it when someone else is on the same path as me. When I'm a beginner in dance, I like it when I see other beginners. Of course, I love watching people that are really good. And it's nice to be alongside someone else that's learning. It's like, okay, I'm not the only one at 51 years old that's getting back into hip hop. 50, because I went back to it last year. The last thing, food. Food and eating and nutrition are probably the hardest thing, hands down. The hardest thing that I hear. It was the hardest thing for me years ago too. A couple of ideas. There is a plethora of information out there, right? Keep it simple. Here's the one thing I'm going to have you guys write down in just a few minutes. Well, you guys are going to write down 3 to 5 things, but the one thing I'm going to recommend with food is starting off adding protein to your first meal of the day. That's it. Let's just keep it simple like that. That first meal where you're breaking your fast, your overnight fast, that's where the word breakfast came from. Just add protein to that. Even if there's already some protein, add some more. Protein gets even more important for us as we are all aging beautifully. Protein is so important. I was talking to this talking about this to my neighbor, and I drive to dance class sometimes together. We were talking about this, and she eats a fair amount of protein, and she's like, you know, I was talking to a practitioner, and she's like, I think I need to increase my protein. So that can be an egg, another egg. I generally eat 3 every morning. Cottage cheese, if you tolerate dairy, tofu, meat, some sort of form of protein. Get it in the first thing in the morning. It's really important to start off our day with a lot of protein, and also to have the last meal of the day contain a lot of protein. There was my 5-minute timer. Okay, so here's your pen and paper. My cheat sheet, by the way. Okay, here's your checklist that I would like you guys to write down for me, please. And I will aim to send this out via email too, if you don't have a pen and paper. These are also great to put reminders in your phone, either throughout the day or just, you know, or just once. I like reminders throughout the day because I don't know about you, but I forget. Bathroom squats with your hands up. That's number 1. And these are in no particular order. And of course, this is by no means comprehensive. So bathroom squats with your hands up. You go in the bathroom before you actually go to the bathroom, pending any emergencies. You're doing however many of these, however many you feel. You could have a goal number in mind, or you can just do some. Remember, any reps is better than 0 reps. Number 2 that you're writing down is speak up. Especially when you don't want to speak up about something, that is when it's even more important to speak up. Another dance story. So there's a local there, it just ended yesterday, 6-week class, and this instructor, she's the cutest thing on the planet. And her choreography is very challenging for me to pick up. I'm way more used to the choreography at the LA place. So last night when my neighbor and I went, we're doing the dance, and I could feel myself starting to get frustrated because I was like, gosh, like why is her choreography so hard? And she asked, you know, does anyone have any questions? And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I have about 10 questions about the moves. And I was just like, you know, I didn't say anything to that one. And then one of the next times, my neighbor Chantel spoke up, and she's like, yes, like we need it again. and then when she asked, are we ready to do the whole thing with music? I was like, no, I need it again without music, like 2 more times. So speaking of, even especially when you're like, I'm probably the only one in the room that needs to see it again. It's just not true, because then other ladies were speaking up. So it opens up, it gives someone else the courage to also speak up when you speak up. And it also serves as a great role model for any younger women, any younger girls, boys that are watching us, even when we don't know that they're watching. So that's number 2, speak up. Number 3 that you're writing down is add protein to your breakfast. Whatever that looks like for you, just add, and I'm not even going to make, I love to be technical, and I would love to be like, your meal has to have 30 grams of protein, like that. That's the Dana side. I want to make it easy. Just add some protein, because anything that you add is more than was there before. And baby steps is the key to staying consistent with things. Bonus. I have 2 bonuses if you want bonus. Otherwise, just stick with those 3. I would pick 1 tomorrow, you know, maybe 1 today. Well, you actually already did some today if you're doing stuff with me. So maybe pick 1 per day, and you can cycle through them. Let yourself take the time to turn this into a habit. The bonus ones. Number 4 bonus would be get to bed 15 minutes earlier. I'm kind of always chasing the 9:30 p.m. bedtime, and it usually is 9:50 to 10. But I'm still chasing that 9:30. That's my ideal. Number 5 bonus, these are the 2 bonus ones, is to get your feet, your bare feet, on the ground outside for 5 minutes in the morning. This can also be a task pairing thing. If you drink coffee while your coffee is brewing, or while your tea is steeping, you go outside. If you could leave your phone inside, that would be 2 gold stars and look at the sky if you can. Otherwise, just be outside with your bare feet on the grass, the ground, even concrete counts from what I've studied about grounding and earthing. Okay, those are your tasks. These tasks will help you defend your health much more than any sort of gadget you can buy or scrolling through this thing. I would love for you to stay on my email list, look for, I'm going to be doing smaller snippets of these. I want to play around with like this time frame versus smaller ones. And there will even be some that are going to have a very, very low cost that will be 10, 15 minutes on a very specific topic. So if anything jumps out at you as I roll those out, those will be coming. The last thing I want you guys to do with me is to close your eyes and give me just 2 deep breaths. And here's what I want you to say out loud if you can. Speaking it into the universe is always more ideal. If you cannot, just think it. So as you are taking these 2, breathe in as big as you can, and then exhale as big as you can. And say or think, I commit to defending my health. Okay, I'm going to do that with you. 2 deep breaths. In, as I come out, I commit to defending my health. 1 more deep breath in. I commit to defending my health. All right, ladies, thank you for taking some time out to be with me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. You missed number 2. Number 2 is speak up, especially when you don't want to. Bathroom squats with the hands up is number 1. Speak up is number 2. Add protein to breakfast is number 3. Bonus 4, get to bed 15 minutes earlier. That's a note to me as well. Huge note to me. Number 5, get your feet on the ground 5 minutes in the morning. Thanks for writing them down. Okay, you guys, have a great day and have a great weekend. And I love you guys. Bye.